you know, Morgana, traditionally you want to use that black shield to avoid, you know, magic damage, but here it's primarily going to be to avoid CCs. So the knockup, essentially the only form of CC of crowd control here for Jarvan. But TrAce, you know, winning the push war is ahead 5-2 in CS, and of course a lot of CS going to be denied here at turret, forcing your opponent to last hit at turret, especially early on. A very, very effective strategy at getting yourself ahead in the CS count, which is a victory condition. As well as I head in on, you can see CS and levels. Level 2 hit already here for TrAce. Now TrAce should skill up his Dark Binding at this point. Dark Binding into Tormented Soil represents a ton of damage. And in fact, that is exactly the skill order that TrAce has gone. Lol Bunny just now hitting that level 2. Goes for the, of course, Banner of Command. Of course, not the item, it's actually the Demacian Standard. It's like a Banner of Command, I guess, but, oh, Dark Binding used for, for last hitting there, probably not working as intended. But, yeah, there's some extra attack speed being, you know, brought out by that banner. An early recall back to base here, that's a little bit interesting. And you probably will see only just the Doran's ring being bought here and an immediate teleport back in the lane. This is actually really interesting for TrAce. He's going for a very early recall just because he had the gold off of shoving the wave. And using teleport, he'll be able to get back to the lane. So essentially he's saying, look, my teleport is a more valuable skill used early so that I can get this itemization and continue to press my advantage. Because to be fair, versus Lol Bunny, with as quickly as TrAce pushes, she's not going to be able to make it back to base without losing a fair amount of CS. You can see some decent Tormented Soils going down there, not only healing TrAce up thanks to that 10% spell vamp, but oh, nice dodge there by Lol Bunny. She's actually been doing a really good job at, you know, avoiding getting hit by these Dark Bindings. She's avoided, I think, 3 out of 3, 4 out of 4 so far, I believe. Will be at least attempting to go back to base, but if she goes back to base right now, TrAce is going to, you can see him grouping up the wave so he can land a sick Tormented Soil onto all 7 creeps, given that that was a cannon minion. Doesn't actually lose any CS to turret. We'll come back in the lane with a, ooh, that's a Crystalline Flask. So going for a little bit more of the sustain focus here. And what's interesting to see about that is that, you know, traditionally you'd expect Jarvan to go for, you know, a very aggressive, I'm just going to run at your face and kill you idea with maybe a lot of long swords or Doran's blades early. But just wanting to assure that she has enough mana to sustain in the lane versus probably taking a few creeps from these waves, as well as the ability to continue to use as many Dragon Strikes as possible. TrAce once again missing that Dark Binding. That's going to start to really hurt him. He took a Martial Cadence to the face, which does mean taking a little bit of extra magic damage. Interestingly enough, I was thinking about, you know, Jarvan the Fourth and the amount of magic damage that he deals, and it's primarily from his Martial Cadence. I remember looking at my death recap after dying to a Jarvan, thinking to myself, how on earth did he deal that much magic damage to me when he's a, you know, primarily physical damage dealing champion? There we go, there's a Dark Binding to hit, but the follow-up on the TrAce has not put points into his Black Shield at this point, so takes so many auto attacks, and ooh, look at that Dragon Strike landing on the TrAce. That play alone might have lost TrAce this game. Now, of course, granted, his all-in potential is actually pretty huge. Triple Doran's Ring, setting him at 75 ability power. He landed Dark Binding right now. Could have kill potential. There is the Soul Shackles forcing the, whoa, flash out from Bunny. Not wanting to take Tormented Soil damage afterwards. Of course, saving the Dark Binding until after the Soul Shackles had latched might have been a little bit of a better idea, or at least having the ability to land it at all. Something that TrAce has been struggling with so far. That does represent an ultimate used there for TrAce, and of course hitting level 6. Oh, there's a Dark Binding. Golden Aegis will not save you. In fact, Golden Aegis, a skill that will never get full effectiveness this game, just because it does scale up as far as, you know, the amount of shield that it gives you, compared, or depending on how many enemy champions are around you. Of course, there will be only 1 or 0 in some cases if you land a Dark Binding at long enough range. It's not going to help you very much. Dark Bindings, you know, missing them all game long up until this point, but when it counts, really hitting them. And now TrAce ahead, not only in the CS department, about 11 CS ahead, but Jarvan will be forced back to base, and Lol Bunny won't be able to come back into lane without using teleport, or at least, you know, immediately. It does not have teleport available, so it's going to be a long, arduous trek back into lane. Whereas TrAce both has teleport and the ability to, you know, take a leisurely trip back to lane if he so desires. What's the build? It is a cloth armor. So TrAce at this point just saying, look, I don't want to die. All I have to do is stay alive. I'll have this in the bag. I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. Ooh, even using a Dark Binding just to CS a cannon minion there. Completely worth it. Although I don't honestly think that he'll actually be able to put that cannon minion gold to use, because we're starting to get up there in CS counts. We're already at 70 CS. We're only 8 minutes into the game. This is some pretty incredible CS numbers being put up by TrAce. And especially for a top laner, that's actually pretty impactful to be a top laner and be able to CS that well. When every little CS counts. When every CS counts, it's TrAce who lands the I don't know, auto attacks to take those CS down. It's my epic movie trailer voice for the Solo King tournament. Dark Binding, nice snipe attempt there, and at this point TrAce recognizes, and I'm pretty sure Lol Bunny understands this point as well. It's gonna be a time for all-inning pretty soon, and interesting to see TrAce, you know, not actually using a black shield at all. You can block a lot of damage from martial cadence, or at least from the Demacian standard early on. Wouldn't be a terrible point to put in there, but just going for the duration on Dark Binding, and of course the points its Tormented Soil to be able to continue to shove that wave, which is primarily what has gotten him this 18 CS advantage, which I don't know how many ways you want to slice that. 80 CS at, you know, 9.5 minutes in a 1v1. Nothing to shake a stick at. Never understood that metaphor, so if somebody else wants to help me out with that, I don't know. But at least for the time being, as far as League of Legends is concerned, something I understand slightly better than metaphors. TrAce, oh my god, goes in with a Dark Binding, baits it out. He's just like, you know, I hope you're ready to dodge, ready to dodge, ready to, and then he still hits it, so. TrAce at this point, you know, I'm not sure if he's really looking to, you know, pick up Hachani's job or anything, but oh man, might be kill potential? No. Just kidding. Just kidding. Crisis averted. Also, I think I just said Hachani when their support player is Che. It's Hachani. Haha. Not quite. But yeah, the play here by TrAce, not necessarily inspired. It's kind of slow and steady wins the race, or wins the TrAce here, as one more Tormented Soil after another. I'm closer and closer to this 100 CS mark, and I think at this point Lol Bunny has to be getting a little bit desperate, knowing that in just a mere 6 CS, she will lose the game. She's heading back to base for a quick buy off of teleport, but going back to base at this point in the game is actually just going to lose it for her. This wave coming in represents victory condition, and I think she's actually just going to give the win here over to TrAce. You'll be killing that CS 1, 2, and 2 more CS, 1 more CS, and oh, he's 1 CS short. TrAce 1 CS short of winning the game. If Lol Bunny doesn't go for it now, game's over. Do it now, Lol Bunny. There she is, walking up the lane, looking for a knock-up. 1 CS away from victory. See if TrAce can lock this one down. Dark Binding, and there we go. 100 CS versus 81, and very anticlimactic, but still victory nonetheless.